we are back. This time we have a real Counter-Strike sort of expert hosting with, you know, experience in front of the camera, smooth. I know what I'm doing. I don't get flustered when people throw shots at me. So
you're looking at threat right now, right?
Speaking of throwing shots, right, okay, so I'm Thorin, Lord Thorin, as you might like to refer. They sometimes do off-camera. I tell them just Thorin's fine, but they're like, Lord, you know, you've earned your title. So I'm joined here by, you're looking down here at my scepter.
Your scepter and all that stuff.
Listen,
not literally.
You can touch it later. So, hello, Khan.
Hey,
you're joining me on the desk here. Long time when we used to do those podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, this is this feels less frightening. I feel very comfortable.
They used to be frightening to do the podcasts? Why?
Yeah, sometimes. Because it was always 2 versus 1 in terms of opinions.
That's true, yeah.
It was but anyway, like this is not podcast. It
was sort of like a tag team fight, you know? We used to tap off and then me and Lotus.
No, it was 2 versus 1. It wasn't even tag team.
I see how it is, yeah.
It's unfair.
So, I've got Khan joining me here, legendary 1.6 player, better known as the guy who, he had the genius to be able to tell Forest, like, this round, go into A, headshot them, we win the title. Next round, I think you're going to go B and headshot them. And he would decide A or B. Like, I mean, you know, some people said like a coin could have decided, but actually it was Khan. So you got to give credit where credit's due. He's the guy who decided.
Do you remember what Taz said about him, though?
I don't remember. What did Taz say?
Wasn't it like something like...
I'm not actually what they refer to on the street as a snitch, so you'll have to tell me what Taz said.
Okay. Well, I think it was something
like...
Have I
been invited to roast or something?
He was such a legend that the reason his status was so good is because he had 4 guys carrying him around in like a... like Tyrion Lannister style carriage everywhere. That's
I like that reference.
Just shameless, really. Yeah. So anyway, we've got Threat here, Sadikist. They'll be doing the game for you. But since I'm the host now, the people who are doing the game, you can all talk for like 3 hours later when I'll turn them. I actually mute you even on the TV here, mate.
I don't blame you. I think half of HLTV does too.
But we won't bring you on analysis because let's face it, you guys are just here to say what happens. Like, he kills someone. Sort of like Khan back in the old day. He just headshots him, like, you know. But anyway. Khan, we're here for analysis. This is serious.
Right.
So we've got a rematch, actually, of a game that happened earlier in the tournament where Immunity in the first game played against NiP in the first match of this group. Now, in that series, Immunity was able to come close to beating NiP actually on one map. NiP's just lost to Fnatic. So we have an unusual situation where a team's just lost and right away they have to go into a match afterwards. Do you think that has any effect on like the psychology of the players? Like, will that make NiP more on tilt? Will it make them more mad to beat them? What would your sense
this
be?
reminds me much of back in the days, not to sound too old or anything like that, but, you know, people like Forest, people like Getra, I think they can easily refocus and get back to the kind of, well, not normal level, because obviously facing Fnatic is one thing, facing Immunity is another thing. You know, NiP has struggled in group stages before, and traditionally we tend to see them on the podium, top 3 placements. Whereas Immunity, I think they have, yesterday perhaps they were semi-close to get a map against NiP.
Even then, just a map.
Yeah, even a map. But NiP, in my book, should have this fairly easy 2-0. I can't see how Immunity...
I actually know that. I'm not sure if you did. Did you ever go to Australia? I know Devilwalk did.
I did, yeah. I joined him over there.
Did you know anything about like what is the Counter-Strike scene like over there? Because I know actually while your guys were winning FACEIT and I think it was Fragbite was when you guys were in Australia, right?
Yeah. Well, there are basically 2 top teams, Vox and Immunity, and they kind of like trading the titles basically. So at this event, for example, Immunity managed to qualify. I think at Gfinity event could have been invitation, but then that's where we're gonna see Vox. Obviously, it's not as saturated as here in the Western world, more specifically Europe and America, but it's a lot of people playing CSGO. And just looking at the player esport demographic, I'd say, together with LoL, CSGO is kind of the title. Obviously, they play a bit of Call of Duty as well. But legacy-wise, we were sitting here a few moments ago talking about back in the days like WCG, etc. Immunity. Maybe even some of these players have, you know, tradition in 1.6. So yeah, certainly, it's great to have tournaments like FACEIT, where they can come out and play.
You said saturated like Europe and America, like not anymore in America actually. I'm sorry to inform you, but that's over. So just Europe mainly. So NiP though
can still exist. Doesn't mean skills there with it.
Oh no, saturated. Yeah, it's sort of like when a liquid's just thrown everywhere, all over the place, makes a mess. Yeah, that is saturation.
That's quite
direct. You're right. Yeah, saturation. Yeah, more like evaporated. I think that's what happened. You know. Anyway,
I mean, question: do you think Australia is better than NA? I don't think so, but
no, obviously not. That's what that's why it's an upset win though, because it was great performance by Immunity, but that's also why you don't just say great performance and, you know, Liquid played to the 10 out of 10 level. No, they had problems. That's why it's an upset. That's why you have to criticize and give praise, you know. So in this game here, we've already got the vetoes, so let's go through them. So NiP dropped Overpass, which they've been banning nearly all the time. Immunity, interestingly, dropped Nuke. I mean, obviously...
Do you think that's interesting?
I mean, NiP is known to play Nuke, but I didn't know that Immunity didn't like it, for example.
I think Nuke is kind of one of these maps that non-Europeans tend to not like to play for whatever reason. I think it's very tactical, a lot of timings on the flashbangs. I think that's something that Björn here can elaborate on further. And against a team like NiP, I think, especially back in their kind of main era they had, end of 2012 and 2013, where they basically won, they were more or less, you know, unbeatable on Nuke. So it's not surprising to me, at least, that I am Immunity is just like, okay, hell no Nuke.
Okay, so that means NiP, here's the interesting thing, NiP picks Dust 2, which was the map yesterday that was the one that at one point was 14-14 and maybe NiP was going to get upset. Yeah. Here's the interesting thing, Immunity picks Mirage, again, that was actually that was a map they didn't play. Let's see. So
but I think Mirage was the map they beat Liquid on, for example.
That was the last map they played there, and that was supposed to be a strong map for Liquid, so maybe that hints towards the fact that I actually was told by DDK something like that was the best map for Immunity's Mirage, so decent picks there.
You could also add to that Fnatic just had a very strong map, Mirage, against NiP, so they might have been standing behind it. Okay, we saw some weaknesses, and if we get a good start, maybe that can mean, you know, they can get to 16 rounds. But nevertheless, I think you said it as well, like before we went live here. I don't think the maps really matters here. This is a matter of if Forest and Get Right and all these players just coming out and play the game, because it's going to be tough for the Australians.
But that's also, I mean, I kind of played into the fact that, like, okay, maybe NiP could be on tilt from losing, but another thing is Immunity got to sit and watch those games before. So the last map anyway will be Cash, and I mean, naturally we would expect this to favour NiP. They're a good Cash team. So quick prediction, you think NiP's going to take this?
2-0. Yeah.
I'll go 2-0 as well. Right, we'll pass it over to the casters then. They haven't talked enough yet, have they?
Yeah, 2-0, of course.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But again, we're going to get into it. It is Dust to start. Like Thorn said, that was the map yesterday. That was a little bit interesting between these two teams. It did go to 14-14, and Immunity was quite impressed with themselves, actually, that they were able to put up that kind of numbers against the Swedish team. Obviously, we talked yesterday as well on a number of occasions about how they're just here for experience and have a little bit of fun. So NiP did win the knife. They'll likely start out CT, although this is NiP. Sometimes they do go T. I didn't actually see which they picked, but I would assume it's going to be CT.
Yeah, and I don't really think Immunity will be able to take 14 rounds today. I mean, NiP, it was their first game of the day, the first game of the tournament as well. And Immunity is like maybe surprising them, showing off some good CS, but now NiP is ready. They know they will go out of the tournament if they lose this. I have a really hard time seeing them giving any room for Immunity.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought to think that they could go out in this game, but I mean, that's the nature of the beast in that group with Fnatic, who once again took them down in 2. So here we are, back-to-back matches for NiP. Get Right already firing toward middle. Good flash out to cover off 2 players at long, as Friberg and allu are up in that position. And Get Right actually got aggressive a little bit through the door. He's going to spot up first, takes the shot. That's SnypeR down, but they still want to push forward. No smoke out, but they're going to come anyway. There's your shot from Rickeh. Still hasn't found the kill, and Forrest, there's Mr. Pistol Master around the corner. He's not even going to sit back and be. He wants to join up close and personal, and Get Right still alive. 18 HP, somehow tanking it all, and as Cadian shows us, allu's got him behind them, so there's nowhere to go, and imagine...
Yeah, and Immunity just going for a mid-push, just trying to go for the trades. And trading 3 players for 1 of the NiP players, it's not efficient enough, obviously, so easy pistol round there for NiP.
I like how James wanted credit, too. He highlighted that it's actually him, not Katie in this game, so barred off on the camera. And here we go. Here's NiP's tradition. They go straight to the SMGs. They do keep 1 rifle up. Again, not like CCS where they went all 5 SMGs on this map. First one's going to be a nade kill, though. That's Get Right. And that was your scout for James. He's already dropped it. It is in a slightly recoverable position, yeah, so SnypeR, aptly so, will pick up the SnypeR rifle, but it's Tech 9's otherwise.
Yeah, and very passive player for Immunity. Seems like the bomb is going close to the mid doors, so either going to be a B split here, or they're going to try to take over short and go for probably just an A push.
Question is, does Friberg want to get aggressive toward long, similar to how we saw allu do it in the pistol round? He's in a good position to do so. But it's catwalk that looks like the approach, so if he actually gets too far away at this point, Get Right still held out at double doors. It would be all on allu to hold the site by himself. They are around the corner. Scout's lining up for the shot, but he can't take him down, and he gets a player in front of them. They actually step on each other's toes. Good damage dealt. allu finally does get USTILO down, and he's not down there. Bombs already dropped. SnypeR as well, and Imagine once again left by himself with imaginary friends, and Friberg says no more mind wandering for you. 2-0 NiP.
Yeah, and just a very standard route from Immunity, just going through the lower tunnels to mid and just trying to go up short, but NiP just hitting their shots, winning that round easily.
And M4 now for Forest. Of course, did go down in that round, so he'll upgrade now rather than later when the guns come out. There's no reason to reinvest into the SMG.
And of course we see a full eco here for Immunity.
Yeah, it has to be. Has to be after that investment in the second round. Friberg still up close at long. Allu, get right, already falling back, so they're going to slide. This will allow Forest to... Oh, okay, so Forest already in with one. This allows him to go over to B once they arrive, but he's already in the fight. Now he pulls back up and get right arrives. So crossfire established. Good flash out, but does Get Right want to go? No, he just waits in behind the doorway. Allu's already doing damage on Catwalk, and theirs is the invitation as Get Right finds one. Forest over his shoulder, takes down USTILO, and it's all left to Rickeh this time. Another 1-on-5 situation, and so far only one kill to come out for Immunity. It's 3-0 just as quickly as that.
And it's going to be interesting to see if NiP decides to keep these SMGs. I know they have done it in the past on Dust 2. They're just trying to go for like a YOLO mid push with the SMGs because it doesn't really matter if they lose this round because they can just buy the ops next round instead.
And there's that grenade to use the smoke to cross, so they won't even invest into the smoke. A lot more teams doing that now.
Yeah, it's really effective. You really need those 2 smokes on the B site.
And I mentioned they only had 1 kill for Immunity. They actually have 2 so far, but now we've got rifles out. We'll see what they can really do against NiP. They're setting up toward long. SnypeR's already at the corner. There's 2 there, though, so he's got to find the first shot on Friberg quickly, and there's the smoke to hold him back. So now that's going to put them in place, hold them out a little bit longer as Get Right still with the SMG, fires away, and interestingly enough, Friberg's still holding on to his, so not a big investment from NiP here. They think they can take the fight up close.
Yeah, if Immunity pushes short here, I don't think there's anything NiP can do with SMGs, because you really need the op, you really need the rifles for the retake. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did go for the exits. It's going to be really tough for them.
Yeah, I mean, specifically because one of the SMGs is at long. That's a big angle.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, both of them are. Allu's there as well with his, so Get Right's the only one that's even close.
Yeah, I think NiP will go for it, but the smartest thing here would be to just surround the site, go for the exit kills, and just steal those AKs.
Interesting that they give it up that much. Specifically with an SMG up for Get Right. He headed back toward middle because he's had success there, but he could have headed on to Catwalk. Yeah, bomb, look at that. NiP's not even, they are grouping towards CT, but they're not even really pushing down from long. They're just kind of sitting and holding station, like you say. Forrest will be the first one in, caught already. James over the top from the site.
They should not go for this, they should just go for the exits.
And another one down. Get Right caught as well. So far, it's just SMGs to drop because they have recovered that M4, or have they? They're losing it as well, and Friberg's going to jump up. He's going to drop. So 2 rifles lost out of that. Again, they didn't buy them in this particular round, but they could have done a little more efficiency. Allu, though, 10K.
Yeah, and I understand the thought behind NiP. They just wanted to, like, let's just give up short. We just have SMGs, we can just take a risk. But then when they go short, you should, like, realize, okay, we can't actually win this. We should just go for the exits. NiP is just a little bit too confident right now.
And that's the question. They have the SMGs. Allu, good shot there. That's USTILO. That's the question, because you didn't upgrade that round. Sure, if the SMGs work, you're going to get more of an economy built up. But because you didn't upgrade, you actually dropped all your guns. Now they're out of the... They've given up a round, and they've got a weak economy because of it. I mean, it's a debate if that's worth it or not. Yeah,
exactly. By the looks of it, NiP will win this round now, but they, were in the risky zone of being forced to a lot of ecos.
So Friberg wants to hold from pit. He's very patient at this spot, too. He'll stay there the whole round until there's a call at A because he has so much confidence in the way Get Right and Allu slide back, similar to TSM's play with Cage and B. But that smoke will keep him busy. The second one that he threw out is also going to not give him vision to realize they've fallen off of the long A position. The bomb's actually heading over toward B, but look at Forrest in behind the car. And we've seen him get multiple 3Ks from this position.
And I think the key is the guy coming through C to spawn here. Get Right.
Good read by him. He's your swing, but Rickeh gets the shot. So nice play from the AK around the corner. Friberg now, that's his cue to push out. He realizes they're not over in his position anymore. But again, Forrest completely surrounded from either side. Friberg just going to be late to catch that last player that's rotating in through mid.
And Forrest is so good at this position.
He actually changes it up, gets inside. Oh, perfect shot on SnypeR. That was your high HP, so the reaction shot was easy onto Rickeh. He was only on roughly 20 HP. Imagine's your last one left. He picks up the bomb, and on the cross, Allu catches him.
And that was a very important round for NiP. They will build up a small bank now. However, 3 players dying might trigger Immunity to counter buy this round, and yeah, they're going to do it.
Well, as they should do. Get these AKs out early and try and just break ninjas down. Oh, Allu. Don't you dare re-peek. He's already close up and in position. Get right finding one, as is Friberg, so the long positions is held beautifully right now. Rickeh still tries to peek, interestingly enough. The second one was a nade kill based on the spray down from Friberg, so good control. He's actually going to get a little more aggressive and up close, but again, they fall back. Look, yeah, perfect highlight from James. They've already pushed out B. This gives them a lot of a read on the opponents.
Yeah, and I don't understand what Immunity was trying to do there. Just ran straight out of long 2 people without any nades. Just get right Friberg there, having fun time, killing 2 people. Early in the round, Rickeh's gonna go down.
Oh, he gets caught. Xizt gets caught. He didn't expect there to be 2 there, and look at that. Xizt mows them all down as James came around the corner with the knife out. So good play from Xizt to hold station, but no way they expected 2 players to be pushed up there.
And Immunity just forced to at least 1 eco now. Gonna give NiP 6-1, probably gonna make NiP build up an even bigger bank, and they just need to play more standard now.
And Forrest going to take his op over toward B. This will put him a little bit closer inside the site. Now, he can play that still from window. Xizt is the one in the back plat. They've known, so they've done this in two ways recently. One is they'll rotate it if there's time, but if they rush out mid quickly, Forrest will pick from window and help out Get Right. Meanwhile, all the attention is at long, and it is on pistol, so Friberg needs to be careful not to give up this AK. Look at the spray control from Get Right. 3 from him as Friberg turns back. And yes, it's an anti-eco, but masterful gun control. Get Right the hat trick.
And let's see if Immunity can adapt to NiP's play now, because they know they always have Friberg and Get Right aggressive long. They should just try to get short before they take long, or at least maybe just go short straight up. But yeah, NiP is smart. They're just switching up their style right now, boosting allu short.
And if you think back to that 69-round game against Envious, it was a lot of cat play, which I actually was surprised by. I was expecting a lot more mid to B splits out of either side, but that is the weakest link based on the positioning of NiP, the way they slide Get Right down. So like you say, they change it up this time. That allows allu to get a little bit closer, but he's already forced to fall back because 2 players from Immunity have found a home on Catwalk. It is smoked off, but allu's back toward the car and Get Right on Goose. This gives them a good crossfire in the way in. Get Right doesn't have to peek until allu calls that they're up close as well, so he'll just wait with his pop flash.
And by the looks of it, and I mean, just best bet here is just to go back long, but they don't know that Get Right is hiding in that goose corner.
Meanwhile, mid is very passively held. Forrest is in the window this time. Just waiting for anyone to come out, but here comes your push. Good smokes, though, from Immunity. This holds Get Right off, so he will flash it out, but he won't have line of sight. And allu can't find a shot either. They've got the drop player. That means Rickeh's already taken down allu in a second one on Get Right. Came all the way around the corner. They had no idea. Great execution. I have to give full credit to Immunity. That's one way to cover off the op. So bomb goes down, and it's a 4v2 post-plant, mind you. James is only on 3 HP, and they want to come from Catwalk. Forrest is going to be the first up. Pop flash from Xizt to get him around the corner. But look at Imagine. Doesn't peek. Oh, still gets caught. Nice reaction shot from Forrest.
There shouldn't be enough time for NiP to do this.
Watch the flank as well, though, because even though they're coming closer and closer to the site, they've got company in the form of, I believe that's James. No, it's actually Rickeh coming in behind them. Nice shot by SnypeR. That's Xizt down, and there's only one left.
And Immunity just doing what we asked them to do. They're just going, okay, they're playing aggressive long, just take short slowly, and then we can fall back, we can go for the B splits, we can go for, like, take long, or we can just go for what they did there, the simple A execution with the wall of smokes, and yeah, it just worked out.
Yeah, well done to Immunity, and again, by having Get Right on Goose, sure, it allows them to peek out when allu calls, but if a player drops down, allu gets overwhelmed, like we saw. You can't control the angle anymore because it's suddenly up close. There's too many spots to hold.
It's really hard to trade from the goose corner as well. You usually just get one and then you go down. And that's exactly what happened for Get Right there.
And they did actually get Forrest, as we saw at the end of the round, so they had to fully reinvest to get both these ops back up. Yes, they've got lots of money, but that's still a big investment. Get Right gonna flash over, try to use this smoke. Catches them on Catwalk, but can't get the vision. So USTILO will push forward. Just the Galil to work with. Flash fully blinds him, so he's got to sit tight for a moment longer. They want to go for a peek this time with the op. We'll see if they can find allu.
I wouldn't be
a little bit more aggressive.
Wow.
What? Okay, James fires through his teammate to take down allu. So it was actually a team K on USTILO. I think he actually lagged up USTILO. That's why James didn't get hit there. So that was interesting, but nonetheless, the kill goes the way. I guess goes both ways. You can call it a trade if you want. Yeah, it goes the way of Immunity.
It's all up to SnypeR here on short now. Just gets one. I don't think that will be enough because now they will have short NiP and they will have long. So I don't think Immunity will be able to hold this. It's just 2 pinned down there on the site.
And Get Right took the invitation to push out long in the back of that double peek toward Catwalk, so he caught them on the flank. Still 2 players on site, but like you say, they can't get toward long. So Forrest comes up from CT, 1 from long. Get right waiting on Cat to see if they're going to push down toward him. He realizes they're not there, so they have to be on site. They have to have figured this out, so they'll just push in with the numbers. Rickeh still, though, making a menace of himself. Does find one on Forrest. Up close with the op. Still holding on the angle. No, Friberg too smart. Jumps over to the right side.
They should just double zoom in that angle. It's kind of awkward in that, like, close.
Yeah, that was interesting. And there you go. They pick up the op as well, as expected.
The round is still very close there. I just want Immunity to just keep it simple. Just take short and go for an A execution or just go for a B split. Just keep it simple, and I think they will string the most rounds together, because trying to do like those kind of YOLO out long things, just YOLOing into B, it won't work versus NiP.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, you can use it to your advantage and try and hold one of the defenders there, like we see Friberg. Okay, this time they actually get Friberg down with the Tech 9 push, but if you hold Friberg there, Get Right's been changing his position. If you can find a way to pull Forrest off B, then you've actually got a chance to split that site. USTILO is going to find Forrest as well, but they still haven't recovered any rifles in this round, so no reason to save just yet. And B's actually open. So despite that smoke's there, Rickeh's going to push through it. They might have realized they can get a bomb plant out of this. They just need to make sure they cross doors without Forrest spotting them. Actually, it's Get Right, the one that's up close. Rickeh's going to hold on him if he tries to come in. And he throws the bomb over. That's been spotted. Get Right definitely saw that. Flash goes out, blinds him down, but Xizt is going to get in the window. And they still don't have the plant in place. That would have been the best possible scenario right now on this eco round. And Get Right, there it is. Man's up, goes through. USTILO tries to pop out, and look at that. They're just lined up waiting.
And that plant would have been really crucial for Immunity's economy. I don't think they will be able to buy, but they won't be full set of nades. We see smokes, but no Molotovs. And the Molotov is actually really crucial, especially when you're going for that short push with the wall. You can actually just mollo off Goose, you can mollo off the site, you can mollo off C to spawn as they're rotating. You can just utilize the Molotov in so many different ways.
Allu gets aggressive on short this time. That will limit their mid. But he doesn't spot anyone. And interestingly enough, that doesn't mean they're B in this case, because they're well split up. You can see actually three in the tunnels in dark. And 2 out toward long. Bombs dropped intentionally in that position at long. So we'll see how they play this back across. Forrest is outside B this time, up toward the scaffolding, just peeking toward mid, and Get Right's up close for the crossfire when the time comes. But patience right now from Immunity.
Yeah, just playing standard Dust2 play. You take dark and you try to go through the lower tunnels, take the mid doors, go up and take short. They haven't taken short yet. And Allu's actually they're contending. Allu is just looking for that entry frag, and he's playing so smart. He's expecting the pop flash, and he's just gonna strafe right when the pop flash pops there. And
oh, but he gets the smoke out.
Yeah, I think it just swapped from the op to smoke there.
They did pull Get Right back though, because like I said, Forrest had leaded off in toward mid, so Get Right came over early. Problem is that Immunity didn't fully round the corner, so they can still back themselves toward mid, and with that smoke out, Allu's going to have to be able to shoot over top of it. Low HP for Xizt inside. It really comes down to Forrest to hold up close, but USTILO looks the wrong direction. He thought he checked it off, so they trade him out. Rickeh does get the kill. But Forrest has to hold station here. It does spot the first over top. Good bait out on the shot, and that gives SnypeR the awareness of exactly where he is, but he can't line him up. Forrest just drops around the backside of the block. He still can't get the shot. Meanwhile, Allu comes around from mid, and they don't get anywhere near the bomb site in the end.
It was a nice try by Immunity just going for to take short, but I think they were a bit too eager to go for that B split. You usually want to take short and like wait 10 or 20 seconds wait for NiP to make the rotations. They just like they took short and then they just ran out of mid straight away.
And again, slight change of pace for the defensive side. So NiP is trying every approach to get the early advantage. This time they fall back, a little more stationary, but it's Get Right that's going to hold toward the boxes. He actually doesn't push down toward CT, and that's exactly why they're already on catwalk. Xizt, meanwhile, has the last man to contend with. Only the Glock for SnypeR.
This is the thing we see when there's a good team playing a lesser team, like in this game, is that they usually don't get any kills during these eco rounds. They don't buy P250s and get like 2 or 3 frags, which will like with the NiP versus Fnatic, we rarely see an anti-eco going flawlessly to either team, and this is like it just makes NiP's bank just too big. Like, look at Allu, he just has 10k right now.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about that in close, or in spread games with close rounds. It does keep the economy very honest. And actually, of course, getting kills with pistols builds up yours as well, so it's a double win in that case.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not getting them like you say. Again, 3 toward long. Allu this time just going to throw out the support flash late in case they rush, but again, they won't do it this time. They get that presence inside dark. As you mentioned, now they'll work over toward mid and catwalk to try and take full control of the map. And it's a change again because Forest is directly on the other side of that smoke. Just fell off to the left side once the peak came out.
There's another stand around for Immunity, going through the lower tunnels. Probably gonna see them take short here. There's the flash. They should just go for their A execution now.
Well, they are in position with 4 on catwalk. One player was at long. He's going to fall back and throw it. A set nade to support it long. There's your smoke over and flash as well. That's going to catch Allu on the second one. Friberg blinded as well. This will hold him in place. And Allu's forced all the way back off of this. They will get that kill, but they're a long way off the A site. And with those smokes out, this does give Immunity a chance to get the bomb down. Not only that, they did go for the drop in towards CT. That catches Get Right on the back side of the rotation. Xizt cancels them out, but bomb is down. And this time they've got a lot better post-plant setup than they did the first time. They've got one out on toward catwalk. That's Imagine.
Yeah, and Rickeh is really low though, but the flanking guy in middle is gonna be huge.
Now he finds Rickeh. Friberg on the way up. That's USTILO down, and yeah, there you go. Imagine's already caught. Perfect retake from NiP into the open A bomb site. So accuracy plays to their favor definitely there, and they're on to 11 rounds.
And even if they lost that round like pretty convincingly, I still think this is Immunity's best bet to win rounds on this T side. They're getting up the site, they're getting the trades, and they're getting the bomb down. There's not more you can ask for your execution.
And a lot more teams are going CAD as of late. Oh, Allu wants to go. This quick pick does get USTILO. Nice reaction shot as well. That was well and truly aimed to the left when he first picked out. So, well played by him. Lags up another. That's James. And can he go for more? Hasn't just yet. Flash is going to come out. James wants to push all the way through on top. And pardon me, that's Imagine. And he does so. Gets him around the corner. And Forrest not in a good position to support. Gets a little bit of a dome through the wall. Puts him down to just 82. But with more teams playing that aggressive long, it does give up cap presence. The problem is that angle from Carr with the op, as we see KJB doing, we see Allu doing, we see Smith's doing. It's very strong, and you pretty much have to overwhelm him to get in that position. That's where your support player in CT comes up strong if they go for that drop. Friberg's your only one on A this time. As Get Right does get back in towards CT. But Immunity just holding station. Look at this boost they're trying to go. They want the shot. They spot him up. Well played by Immunity. Good teamwork that time. Rickeh finds Friberg. And around the corner they go. Low HP player and James goes down. But they needed to trade that. If he's going to give up his life, it has to be a trade. He flashes down. The problem is he's going to run into more than just one. And he's put himself on the boxes. So despite that the bomb goes down, Rickeh is in a very tight spot. He's already spotted. Secondary flash. They both get blinded. Neither of them can connect the shots. And SnypeR tries to come out and bail him out. But he's already dropped. Luckily, Rickeh's found 2. He brings this back. Caught on the way out. Forrest too quick on the peak, and he'll get the defuse.
And a very nice try there by Immunity. I really like the boost they did to spot Friberg over the box on the site. And they're a really different kind of round. They just went kind of straight out mid, doing some trades, and made it a 4v3. So once again, really close for Immunity, but NiP is just stronger in these 2v2, 3v3 situations.
Here's your deep smoke again to cross over, so they actually do invest the smoke this time. And again, you're 3 long for the early pick. Fire out as well, but Immunity's not up close this time. They're just sitting back and waiting it out. As we can see, and it's all AKs for them. There's your smoke over onto the corner. Friberg, he's used this bounce flash a lot to his advantage, specifically last weekend. This time they aren't around the corner. Still blinds them up. James, though, somehow, the luminosity not bright enough, still with enough vision. He manages to pick off Friberg, so now they actually have another approach. They won't go short this time, but there's still Allu to contend with. He actually drops. Nice shot, USTILO. Now it's open up, and with Get Right down, this is their best chance to whelm onto the A site. Xizt tries to come back through. Flash over top of him, and he's going to have to deal with Imagine up close. Spots him, gets him down with the M4. But again, no one close for the retake this time. Forrest on the way over does catch one. No smoke out, curiously enough, and I don't think they have actually any more to work with. There you go, bomb down. Xizt has to try and catch one from catwalk. Do they go long and try and hold off on the player? Rickeh, who's trying to get in toward pit, that's the bigger question.
Yeah, this should be an easy round for Immunity.
And they're both coming from the same approach. They want the first shot. James is slightly exposed, manages to get Forrest, and Xizt drops down. Do they spot him up? No, not yet. Rickeh already caught. This forces James to rotate back on top of Goose with the op. Close range. He's going to drop as well. Low HP. Don't peek, SnypeR. Not yet. You've been spotted up. He knows exactly where he is, and he gets him, but does he have time? I don't think he does. I think Immunity are going to get this round. In fact, they will. Just barely. Just baiting it out long enough. And Xizt, a great effort. 4K from him in the round.
Yeah, very nice try from Xizt, but still Immunity played... I don't know if they should have made it that close. But yeah, still a great round from them. They took the entry frag on Friberg on long. NiP was forced to challenge the rest of the Immunity players on the map to gain ground, but Immunity just hitting their shots that round.
And I mean, it didn't matter that they lost everyone that was alive because it was the end of the half, so swap it over, 12-3 NiP. Great start for them. Again, yesterday, this was the map that was close between these two, surprisingly to many people. We saw the odds. It was, I think, only 4% for Immunity today, and NiP are holding true to that. So pistol underway in the second half. Very aggressive B spawns from NiP, and they're going to take full advantage of it. Already inside dark. No one in B yet for Immunity. USTILO is going to be the first one there, and just as he gets inside, the flashes are already coming out from NiP. Full Glock train in effect. Around the corner, one counter flash comes out. That's from SnypeR. Holds them a little bit deeper, but your cross has already come in. That's Friberg across. Emagine takes him back down. Xizt going to push all the way through. Already with one, and does he get the second outside as Rickeh comes in the backside? He hasn't yet. Manages to fall back inside the site. They'll clean it up all the way. Allu with 2 inside the tunnels, and Forrest with the last.
Yeah, and that's a thing you see from NiP when they know they're the better team, just going for that straight-out B push. They know that they're just so much better individually, they cannot stop us. Plus the fact that Immunity only had one guy there peeking from like the double doors. It's a very risky play for an Immunity as well.
So Allu with the scout this time. Wants to do the early damage. SnypeR's already inside B. It's a bit of a stack as well because there's James who's already gone down and Stello in behind. Pardon me, Rickeh who takes down Forrest this time. He's going to drop immediately after. So 2 SMG kills exist with this AK. He'll smoke the cross.
Yeah, and simple round there for NiP. I think Immunity is going for the, maybe not full eco, but it's a full eco. You're just buying a P250 and then you're going to buy the next round. Leading NiP up to 14-3 lead, so they must be really confident in their abilities with the FAMAS here into the next round.
And they close out on everyone, but like you say, an eco round, not a huge investment from Immunity, and as a result, look at this. They're going to go straight to FAMAS's and the scout for SnypeR. No surprise, they're playing on 14 rounds for NiP, so give up this for unmatched point. You might as well fight for it now and try and break the economy early. Allu's still going to hold on to the scout of his own. Doesn't spot, or pardon me, doesn't tag up the cross, does spot. He actually gets hit in return. Nice shot from SnypeR that time, so Allu's down to 50.
NiP just going for the stand play. 3 gangs going the lower tunnels. Probably going to see a B split.
And through middle they already are. Late smoke as well, so they take that early pick. That was a double smoke though, so that's a bit of a missed call. Slight overinvestment, but look at the flashes raining over top. Rickeh instantly countered. Get right, make it 2. Catches James as well. What a great aim from him all the way through as Allu now will come back across, and the bomb will go down in his hands. As Xizt waiting in middle. Gets caught actually. USTILO's found him, so they pulled this back to 3-on-3, but they're nowhere near the site just yet, and Get Right's well and truly pushed out. Does he get caught on the way back in? No, USTILO just late to get there. SnypeR does find Allu though, so they've given themselves a bit of a chance. Through the window, Imagine trying to find one more. Such a hard angle to come in. USTILO's trying to support from doors and give him that entry, but Forrest has already found them, and they're both falling back quite deep inside the tunnels as Get Right from Forrest, or pardon me, Forrest with 2, Get Right from Closet will drop down. And he has to hold this.
Yeah, there's no time now.
Yeah, kill but no cigar. Nice light.
Yeah, and I just love the way NiP does this B split. Like, you can see some like lesser teams, they throw the smoke from the mid box, the Xbox, you know, where you aim for the window. The thing about that smoke is that you telegraph that you're doing a B split so early. If you just walk out mid, as NiP is doing, throw the smoke like almost while you're running up to B, you just give the CT so little time to react to that B split.
So Allu this time does have the up, makes good effect of it. Get Right gets caught though from Rickeh's scout. But Xizt will counter out on SnypeR, so it's still back to a man advantage as Friberg works down mid. Nade out, James doesn't quite catch that, and he's got the deagle up. Just tries to peek out and fire away. Hasn't found anyone just yet. Rickeh tries to do more damage. Friberg's going to find him. AK out, and they want to push through now. They could fully split onto this B. It's only 2 men up. One of them is James. Deagle inside the site, and he's going to be vastly overwhelmed. Does actually manage to do good damage to Friberg, but that's all he can ask for. And Imagine Mag 7, very low Friberg. From this range, he actually could get this kill. It's only 9 HP. But I don't think he'll get much more than that. Pops out. There it is. And that's going to do it. 16-3. NiP, make no mistake today. It's not even close. Full control the whole time.
Yeah, it just looked very easy for NiP. It's not much you can like really analyze in that game. NiP just you could see how they're in the later stages of that map. They just kind of played more loose, going for that B rush on the pistol round, because they don't need to do more. They don't need to show off like their tactics and stuff. They just need to play their own game.
For sure. And we actually saw them change things up, strictly getting a read on immunity. They realized, okay, early on they were aggressive long, so they started to put the 3 there. Then they started going cat, and they went for the quick boost with allu. Get Right kind of went between Goose and in towards CT to support me, which he normally does against most teams, but in this case kind of faded it off. So yeah, you're right. I mean, they kind of just played to what they had to do. They responded perfectly.
Yeah, and that's why it's so hard to play versus NiP as well, because they do something and you like try to react to it, but there's like immediately they do something else. So you can't like really anti-strat them in the mid game.
Well, that gives them map number 1. We'll bring back in once Thorn is ready there. We'll bring back in Thorn and Karn, see what they have to say about it, and then we'll get ready for the second map.
Okay, we're back. So, very convincing game 1 victory there. Kind of by the book for NiP starting CT side. What did you think?
Well, I think this map was like kind of the ultimate showcase what's wrong with non-European teams in a sense how they approach battles against European teams. What they're trying to do, they're trying to play teams like, I wouldn't say like CS was created and the strategies and all that was created in Europe, but I think it's been a dominant region for so long time. But NA teams, Australian teams, they don't have the benefit of practicing against our style. But yet they're trying to approach the game against NiP here, immunity that is, on immunity, on Dust 2, playing NiP straight up in a sense. They're playing the standard rounds, they just try to do the same smokes, the same moves, the same timings as NiP or any other European team does. The problem is they're not really familiar, they don't really grasp why a certain smokes end up like there and why the timing should be like that. It's just what they're seeing on replays and stuff and they're studying the opponent. What they need to do, this is kind of like a David versus Goliath thing. They need to, you know, kind of add a game changer. They need to maybe, you know, make a simple fake against A and just storm 4. I mean, 4 goes B straight after that. If they're just playing it straight up, I think it's going to be like they're going to be grinded out by European teams. So similar to like how we made Fox or Tylo, etc. back in 1.6, when they came to Europe, they actually played a style we weren't familiar to, and this is something Björn can obviously add to as well. And it was very hard for us to counter that because we went out of our comfort zone. Now, Forrest, Get Right, Allu, and these guys sitting there, being extremely comfortable, playing a game they have been playing so many more times than Immunity. So I think that's maybe it's a lot of wisdom to be learned from this, from these non-European teams. And again, Europe has been a dominant force pretty much the past 15 years in Counter-Strike.
One of the things I noticed as well, if we're going to kind of bundle these teams together, so like the NA teams and the non-Europeans in that sense, is that one area, like in terms of strategy, that they seem to have like a bit of a deficiency is they almost never play the bomb timer. Like when the bomb's down, if they're like in a 3v1 advantage, yeah, they take up positions that are like normal positions. Like I'm going to hold this corner, you hold that corner. That all makes sense. Yeah. But for example, on that almost the last round there, where the guy won from NiP, it should have been almost impossible for him to win the round if they just ran away, essentially. If someone jumped down... And
talking about the Xizt 1 and 3, he didn't get the defuse though.
Just things to waste the time though, you know. Whereas actually instead they held literally the most obvious spots where if he just ran, he had a chance to win it. It's almost like you're giving the guy a chance. Yeah, it's true. If even one of you gets the shot on him and kills him, it's over. The round's over at that point. And so unfortunately, I think that's how these plays develop. Because what happens is, maybe against lesser players, one of those 3 people does get the kill when he peaks in that sense. And so you don't get punished for doing the wrong thing, so you don't learn from it. And also, you might think because you killed the guy, right, I did the right play. That's like the right play. I ended it before he had a chance to even get to my teammates, you know. Whereas sometimes you can kind of win more with the brain than aim, you know.
Indeed. I mean, what do you think, Björn, about the kind of theory I laid up here? Like, in terms of changing the game when you're playing, I mean, instead of just mimicking a certain style, coming here from Australia, coming over here to London from Australia or NA, should they try something else, you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because they can't practice the European style versus Europeans, because that's how you have to practice it if you want to use it versus Europeans. I know exactly what you mean. Let's take like Xizt, for instance, is holding B on Dust 2. Like if he sees like the regular B split coming up, he's been in those situations like 1,000 times.
Right.
He like knows exactly what to do. He's so comfortable in that situation. What you need to do is exactly what you said. Do something differently. Like maybe smoke towards B and just go towards C to spawn, or just try something funky maybe.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, we have a second map upcoming, and that's Mirage. But we got NiP that once again is extremely comfortable in their seat here. Kind of already maybe starting to plan for tomorrow's semis, but yeah, maybe we shouldn't count out the Australians yet. Maybe they have learned something from Dust 2, even though Dust 2 was the map, correct me if I'm wrong, where they were 14-16 yesterday.
That's also why I didn't go too crazy with the result yesterday. Like, first of all, if they'd have won, it would have been a bigger deal. If you came close and you lose, I don't really buy into that thing of like, yeah, but I got 12 rounds on them. It's like, that doesn't really matter as much, you know. Because if you play them again, that doesn't mean, well, I got 12 rounds last time. If I improve, I'll get 13. It's not really linear like that in terms of the way the game plays out, you know. I mean, you saw this time, they had no chance on this particular game. Now, it was a very different story before. If they played again, maybe they get a few more rounds, but I doubt it would go to the 14 again, you know. I think as you go on, there's that thing, like it regresses to the mean. It'd go down to the average level of what it should be for both teams. That's why you like to play best of 3. So on this next map, the problem I think for this team now is that we all know NiP doesn't mind playing Mirage because they've been picking it recently or allowing teams to pick it. They played against Fnatic here. Even though in theory it's a really good map for Immunity, well, they had a tight time themselves against Liquid. So what do you think what do you think against NiP a team has to do to be successful on Mirage? Because obviously we saw Fnatic do it today. Is there anything that Immunity can take from that?
I think I just tie into my previous theory here that they need to do something differently. So maybe less standard rounds when they T, maybe more aggression when they are CT. But yeah, if they just try to clash against NiP straight up, I think they are in big trouble here. So as you mentioned, playing Team Liquid is one thing, playing NiP is another thing, especially NiP that, you know, has one map up, 16-4 or whatever the score was. Just one thing, though, that kind of bothers me still from Dust 2, I think it was the 4th round where NiP opted to stick to SMGs. Yeah. And that was kind of one of very few rounds that Immunity... What is that? I mean,
here's the
you're more up to date with the meta, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I can actually explain that. The thing you do, you save the SMGs, because you have 3-0, and you usually do this when you already have a lot of money. And you basically think, okay, we can give this round up, but the way they approached, like, when Immunity got the bomb down, they should have just gone for the exit kills and take the AKs, because that's usually the plan with it. Okay, we take a risk. They left short completely open. Sure. Yeah, and they were like, we have 2 people long, 3 people towards B. If they go short, we just go for the AKs. But they try to go for a retake, which was kind of funky. And
yeah, I mean, just looking at the win percentage-wise, SMG is up against AK. Yeah. Even if you're playing Immunity, which is like skill-wise, separate level. I would understand that decision against a team like Envious or Titan, teams like just like to force buy a lot, and it's kind of a counter to stay relevant and financially viable long term. But I didn't really see that Get Right and his guys needed to stick to SMGs. It was like luxury.
I don't think they need to. But again, to go further with your point, it doesn't mean they don't invest in that round. If they get any kills at all, they build up more of a bank. Not only will they still be able to buy in the next round, but they didn't waste AKs. Because let's say they do take that fight, whatever, they do upgrade, they do lose that round. Again, against Immunity, not likely. But now they're probably going to have to save on round 5. Yeah. Instead, if they pick that up, it's kind of like a forced buy eco in a weird way. It's like, hey, if we pick this up and win this, we just doubled our economy, and then they just walk all over it from there.
It's just like a guard to not getting money screwed, I guess. But I can understand your point. Is like, they're playing Immunity. If they would go for the double up straight away, they probably would have just closed out the game right away.
Pretty much. Yeah. And I think it's a good way of actually controlling the economy, and especially against kind of, you know, teams like Fnatic, Envious, etc., which is obviously harder to face as CT on Dust 2. I think they should have tried to do something else than play it passively, because ultimately they just let Immunity in on one of the bomb spots, and it was you know, long distance duels, which SMGs is not the best at, you know. So yeah, maybe if they weren't aggressive in upper tunnels or something, that could have worked better.
That's actually what you usually do, and I actually seen NiP doing, like, they just rush straight up mid from short as well.
What was different in this game as well from the first time they played on day 1 is that this time it was like almost a classic setup, because Allu and Get Right were the guys going crazy. They were getting all the frags. Forest was doing a lot better, but as a result, when the guys who were the really good aimers for their team were on top of their level, unfortunately, Immunity don't have people on that kind of level. They have decent players. Some of them have had highlight rounds. Rickeh had some rounds when he was playing NiP the first time, like some 4-kill rounds, but that was the problem. A lot of that game did look like it was some of the NiP players who were coming in low, or they were slumped in terms of their form, or didn't know they'd have to play at this level. So I kind of feel like, I don't think it would be as dominant every time if they played them like 10 times on this map, but I think in general there should be a gap between them. I mean, it's a better team. They should be able to outclass them there. So on the 3rd map, if we were to get to it, what was it going to be again? Cash?
Yeah, Cash, yes.
Okay. Is there anyone here thinks that Immunity can win on Mirage?
I don't think so. I think it comes back to the fact that what we were saying, you can't take a heads-up fight against NiP. You can't play the European style if you don't practice it. And based on what you just said, I mean, if you take the heads-up fight, you're trying to go skill versus skill, and the skills are quite skewed. So they kind of have to change it up. Yeah, exactly. You got to change it up and try and catch them off with an odd rush or something. Just play a whole different style.
I think Immunity would be at a better spot if it was Cash coming up next, and let's say they get a good start as CT. Then they might be a contender to getting one map back to Australia, but Mirage is a fairly balanced map in the sense that he can actually get a lot of rounds. We saw Fnatic earlier. I think we got 12. Fnatic got 12 rounds versus NiP,
right,
starting as T.
Well, we're going to see how the terrorists do, so take it away.
For sure. So we'll get back into it again. Mirage, like you say, and it's definitely going to be pressure on for Immunity. I mean, even just